The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
Welcome to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, squeezably soft host for February 10th on most of TFNN.com. If you're watching live on Tiger TV, of course, it is an interesting day. We've got a little higher out here today, and volume is kind of quiet. 13 points higher on the S&P Cash, 2060 for the index mark, 2.2 billion shares. Had a little bit more volume come in the last 10 minutes, but up about 13 points. A lot of belief that in the end that EU will capitulate to the Greeks and everything will be fine and everything will be awesome. And I think they're kind of pushing that today. Not a lot of volume so far. I'm not a real optimist. I believe that when communists tell me that they're communists, that they will take that to the grave, that they aren't just kind of kidding. They're true believers. And the belief is that maybe these people in Greece just really are saying one thing and doing another. And for the most part, I think everybody's probably better off. The whole EU thing starting to stink to high heaven, and without a common government across all the land, it's hard for me to see how 18 people get in a room tomorrow and change with all the different ways that their people are different, that they're going to throw a wad of cash at a bunch of people that think working 20 hours a week is tough. And, you know, they've had about 2 years of austerity, and that's about all that the Greeks can handle. So it continues to be problematic for that. Probably more interesting to me out here today is the dollar. It's up 27 cents. Also, of course, the real movement. Let me get a few things cleaned up here. The real movement in that's out here. Yesterday we talked about it, and that was crude. And I showed a couple of charts saying out there. I think we've got an email about that, so I'll try to get to it here in the first half of the show. But crude off about 280. In fact, I think Andy, I've got him on the IM. I sent him a couple of charts saying that at least the charts I were looking at said that crude was probably pretty close to a top, and I thought we were going back. I think I said it on the show yesterday. I think we're going back into that trading range of about $45 to $48 for a little while. In fact, pretty much thinking that that's a good call, especially because we had so many people out on the infotainment shows today telling everybody to buy crude and how it could only go up. And of course, we got one dingbat out here saying that crude's going to 20. And why it could, I don't suspect it's going to 20 in the next week. And he really didn't say when it was going to 20 or when. But of course, those are the kind, if you want to be a big shot on Wall Street and on CNBC, you come out with some ridiculous call in the marketplace. But it is interesting to say the least. Yeah, Citi said 20. Credit Suisse said higher, and it's going nowhere fast. Yeah, at least when I look at the options out here on futures, they are telling me that somewhere between 40 and 45, or 45 and 48 is where this thing wants to live in the near future. And we may have some slight detours because it is volatile. But my guess is that a combination of the dollar index, which is what are we at here? 47. 94.71 on the dollar index, and that's up 26 points today. Still looks to me like this thing is just going sideways, getting ready to churn and head higher. And until we get into probably about 98, I think we've got a pretty good base in this dollar. dollar doesn't seem. I watched the thing go all the way from about 130 down to 70. And there was a gentleman that occasionally listens to the show. Maybe he's listening today. Went by the name in my trading room of Jaded Bear. Actually started his own hedge fund. I talked to him not too long ago and thought that he would be an excellent person to host a show here. But he basically had his own hedge fund for a while. And I talked to him about the ins and outs of starting one. And basically, he went through the litany of things that I kind of already knew, which is if you don't have $200 million under your roof to start, you're not going to break even with all the additional overhead from compliance issues. And of course, everybody thinks that everybody's going to come along and make better laws since 2007 and 2008. And of course, those laws only mean and pretty much were written to keep everybody else out. So in the scheme of things, maybe it's more expensive for them to do business, but at least they don't have to worry about someone starting up with $50 million and making a ton of bread because you can't with $50 million. The overhead will just kill you. So you've got to start with a pretty big pocketbook to begin with, about $200 million just to break even with charging confiscatory rates to your hedge fund clients. But I do digress. Of course, looking at some other ones out here, I have not been very bullish on gold. It's off $8.50, $12.33. I think this could be one of the big moves, but I'd love to see the dollar index hit basically 98, and maybe there we've got a tail of a true long-term bottom in gold. That would probably, it may take gold down a little bit farther than a lot of people would like, but at the same time, I'd like to see a lot of washout in the, especially miners and the juniors, which continue to, for the most part, to hang up fairly high out here. I tend to watch the JDST for the junior miners, and we're at 41 cents on that today, but not too bad for this pullback. But my guess is that we're probably going to see some kind of washout as long as gold goes lower. That washout will probably signal the stocks that have the worst financial conditions, and of course, a few of those go out of business, going to make it much better for the rest of them that stay in business. So if you are playing those gold miners, especially the juniors who don't have a lot of cash, be very wary about them. And also in any geopolitical realm where they may just take the mine, which can happen again. I remember, was it Chrysalis Mines? I think it was something like that. KYKRY, where they just walked in Venezuela and took them all. Of course, Putin is one to take them all. What a riveting book, too. I talked about it last week. Let me get that guy's name again because I linked to it, but it was pretty awesome. Red Notice that we talked about last week with Bill Browder, who opened the fund in Russia. But what a riveting book. I'm through about the first 3 or 4 chapters, and wow, what a story of looking at something that's undervalued and getting out just in the nick of time. As George Soros has always said, the history of finance is one lie and deceit after another. Your job is to get on why it's being perpetrated and get off before it's discovered. And certainly he got out why the getting was good, and probably got off with his life. And of course, if he was ever to go to Russia, would not come back with his life. But what a great book. If you missed that part where I was talking about it, he basically started a fund to go out and buy a lot of assets right after the fall of the Berlin Wall, and eventually made a bunch of money. Putin killed off a couple of oligarchs that had him in check. And once he did that, he didn't need this guy any longer. And he was lucky to get thrown out of the country. His lawyer was not so lucky, as he was beaten to death when he showed out that Putin was knee deep in all of these internal issues with stealing money from the Russian people. Of course, they're always the ones to get it the worst. I do digress, though, and as always, we like to start off with a little histoire.
And it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day, Billy Martin, Martin Bailey. I want to say Billy Martin. I want to see him out there kicking dirt on somebody's shoes again. That's what baseball is missing now, is dirt kickers. They need to get Billy Martin back there, red-faced, ready to have a coronary out there yelling at a few of the umpires. I kind of miss that. That and pine tar, some of the other stuff. But getting very close to spring training down here in Tampa, and going to be kind of interesting. Anyway, Dr. Martin Bailey, chairman of the President Clinton's Council of Economic Advisors, declares on this day, and remember, in 2000, the fundamental looks very good as long as we stick to sound policy. There's no reason why the nation's economy expansion, now 107 months long, cannot continue indefinitely. By year end, the economy is heading into recession. And of course, we had the giant dot-com bubble, which really we kind of had it come off right after the first of the year. And then we had kind of a mini recovery, and then we made a absolute ton of money, at least around TFNN, by shorting the bejesus out of everything come that March through April. And by the end of that year, as William Buffett said, you can always tell who's swimming without a bathing suit when the tide goes out, because so many of those companies that went IPO went back to nothing. In fact, it's not as bad, I'll put it this way, but still seeing it just a horrendous amount of these stocks that went up on speculation and not earnings over the last year from the IPO back to their IPO date. And of course, nothing more than we can probably, the poster child for that is the sell the sizzle, not the steak company for GoPro, who was telling everybody how they were a giant media company, but are not. And I haven't seen any real change out there. They make cameras that are very good. The question is, how should they be valued as a commodity company making cameras like Panasonic and Sony and Canon and Nikon? Or should they more likely be valued as a company like YouTube, and basically they are the Pied Pipers, and everybody brings their content to them and gives it to them, and they resell it. Why there's some rather spectacular content from GoPro cameras. The question is, how long are people going to be interested in that? Long term, are they more interested in telling the true story? And to tell you the truth, if I had to pick a bunch of YouTube videos and or hero footage, or watch Better Call Saul, God, what a great episode. This is going to be just as good as as Breaking Bad, I think, if you missed it Sunday night. Anyway, we'll be back in just a minute.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
Check out the new look of Tiger TV. Now you can see all hosts, charts, and computer screens live in high definition. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Thinkorswim, or Carol Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV. Now, crystal clear in high definition, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't seen the new look of Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com. Grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com.
You've always taken the long view when it comes to investing, but what if there's an opportunity right under your nose? What if you could be more responsive to market trends to seek to boost your portfolio performance right now while seeking to reduce your overall risk? At Direction Funds, we connect investors with alternative strategies that seek to maximize their returns. Smart investors deserve smart alternatives. Find yours at directionfunds.com. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risk charges, and expenses of Direction Funds carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Funds. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact the Direction Funds at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. Investing in index funds may be more volatile than investing in broadly diversified funds. Distributed by Rafferty Capital Markets, LLC.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com. Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And kind of interesting discussions out here, but if you're wondering what the market could be worried about, there was a fairly interesting discussion, I think, by Einhorn today, David Einhorn of, Greenlight Capital. But he was basically commenting that the market was like a haunted house where there's always somebody around the next corner that's yelling boo. But he listed these in the order of the issues that he thought you at least should be looking at. The first was lower growth over the last quarterly earnings, and probably not just a slowdown, but something systemic out there. The move in the Swiss franc, the dollar index, of course, holding up, that I talk a great deal about. The Fed rates divergent between what the market is saying that they will start raising it and what the actual rates are doing. And when those two collide, there's probably going to be some fireworks. The rise of populism in our politics, the Russians doing who knows what next, the Middle East ready to blow up at any time, isolation by the United States, and the trashing of the Constitution back to the 2008 deals where basically they just kind of shredded contracts and contract law because they felt it was expedient. And who are you gonna go to if the Constitution and the judges and everybody just looks the other way, which goes to tell you that anybody can be self-delusional. And, of course, for the most part, we'll talk a great deal about the ends justifying the means. That is right before they take your right to free speech away. Interday out here, Molson's Coors had some big interday moves because they started talking in their conference call about the word that you should not say, headwinds. Let's take a look at this chart out here. Tap, where's it at? There it is. And the issue, you look at that candle out here today, and that's interday, and that's not like it opened up that way. It went fairly long into the morning during the conference call before they started talking a great deal about the way that this market was moving. And, I mean, we went all the way back to where this thing gapped up on the 7th of January. But you got some pretty massive volume down here. Looks to me like this is going to try to come back to the $70.81. And this was all on about two sentences about headwinds and the dollar and exporting wonderful cereal malt beverages, as they often do. But it's all weaker when they try to export. And, of course, since most of the stuff that they use comes from the United States, it's not like they're getting any headwinds from lower cost input costs. It's all basically made here in the United States, from the aluminum for the cans to the brewing to shipping. And of course, traders went after it rather heartily today. Kind of gone down to our last low on the 6th, but certainly looks to me like this high volume day from December 17th is in play at $70.81. So kind of interesting, but that's kind of the most interesting of the bunch out here. We've got some other stocks that are moving, but that was kind of probably the most interesting to me because it happened almost all through the trading and reaction, live reaction to the dollar being quoted out here as the big issue. What else do we have going on out here? Let's see if I've got some other things going on here. HOT beat on consensus EPS by 21 cents, and a lot of these hotel stocks doing a little bit better. Starwood Vacation Ownership doing okay. Nice gap up in this, still in the trading range, so it has not busted out, but decent volume. But again, like so many of these stocks that came down on volume, this one on the 9th of January with almost 6 million shares. It's up with 6 million shares, but not able to break that gap. In fact, that's a double gap. That thing gapped up, then did a very bearish gap back down, and a nice pop back up here. If you wanted volatility, you certainly got it, and you've gotten it in spades. Up strongly out here is Micron. They are in a agreement with Itura Memories, which will allow Micron to supply DRAM products at a discount, and a little pop out of there for a huge move down from that December 8th high. We will be back in a minute. I'll get back into some of my email, and in the meantime, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you, like it does me, call 1-855-750-4051 to find out what they can do for you. That's 1-855-750-4051. Call them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we've got a request from Greg in Las Vegas who, if I do anything, I'm here to serve you. And he says, we need a shot of the Lego song today.
Everything is awesome.
And everything is awesome. But we'll look at some other things out here. And we got mentioned DGAS on your show. Did you say that we'll pull back to 687? So let's take a quick look at DGAS. I was kind of, I mean, I don't see any difference than what we talked about yesterday. It came up and tested this previous high of January 12th. As we said yesterday, 9.4 million shares, 5.4 million shares out here today. And I think we looked at this and we looked at, what did we else look at? We looked at a couple other charts, and it looked like we had so many in that sector that were topping out that I thought it was likely that you were going to get a fairly decent pullback in DGAS. And yeah, I think this thing is it's going for this gap, and that gap was, it gapped up on the 16th of January. My guess it's coming back to that. We are in the candle of the 29th right now that had 14 million shares. We got 6 million shares now, so it's probably going to take a little while to grind out a little bit, but my guess is that it's trying to come back into this super high volume 18 million share down day of the 14th of January. So kind of a nice big trading range out here from about $5 to $9. And What else can you say? If you like trading nat gas out here, other than this made all the signal in the world that you wanted. And one of the reasons I made this call is, if you can see, the first leg on my power law vector indicator was 21, and I'm going to sneeze. And I cut that out so you didn't have to listen to all the sneezes. And what else can you say? Anyway, on my first leg on the power law vector indicator number, you had all the energy with a 21 on it. It came back on 11 on it. And why it wasn't as big as this first leg, the energy certainly was very light. And all you have to do is look at the energy level in the volume bars underneath this leg from that January 15th low, and you can see that we're a pretty good indicator that we're coming back. But yeah, I'm looking at that. This is the guy that keeps emailing me from VText, but never tells me what his name is or where he's from. And I would just ask him to do me that one favor, because I can't remember anybody from vtext.com. But someone calls me from Las Vegas and asks me to play Everybody and Everything is Awesome. I remember that.
Everything is awesome.
Anyway, we've got a lot of things going on out here, so we'll try to get to the rest of them. NTES. Where's my notes on this? I've got so many notes out here. Didn't we talk about that before the break anyway? Maybe we did. Talked about, here it is. Reported inline earnings of $1.56 a share, 3 cents better than the analyst estimate of $1.53. Revenues rose 42% year over year to almost 600 million, and versus the 522. So big hits on both of them. But you had a little lighter volume. This may be one of these sell the news things if it gets up here to 118.47, the February 4th high at 118.47. Don't need all that much volume. You certainly have nice volume the last 2 days, but you got to look at that. It maybe being, if you've been long this thing for a while, might be time to take some cash off the table. To see KKR, let's take a look at this one real quick. Reported net income of 5 cents a share, excluding non-recurring items, 39 cents worse than the Capital IQ consensus, and pretty much down today, although it's been trying to come back a little bit. KKR and Company. The end of the world? No, it's got kind of still in this uptrend line, which it looks like people bought, even though they are saying lower. We already talked about Morrison's Coors C beat Q4 EPS in its estimates by 12 cents, reported in line, guided above consensus for the coming year. Now, this one's breaking, and one of the few out here that is breaking above with volume. And everything you can say that a stock should do when it breaks above long-term trend lines. The January 13th high, $43.66, 2.3 million shares. Of course, 5.7 million already. You've got a nice big candle out here. You have lots of volume. And what you'd probably be looking for this to do is come back to the 43 level if we get a bull market, and buy it there if you want to go long. But not one of these short candidates out here. Wynn, of course, another one up here on fairly decent volume. Wyndham Worldwide, these hotel stocks doing fairly well. Now, this one is much more like the stocks that we see the majority of, and that is that they come up, try to break their highs. They're doing it on a much lighter volume. And what else can you say about that out here? But lots of volume, but can't take out the previous high of January 23rd, $88.41. We've gone through that, and we are not holding it at the moment. But you want to see that close above 88.41, or probably good that it's still in this lower trading range out here. And we'll have to take a look at that. What do we have in the indexes right now? We are up higher. And what do we got for volume? 2.45 billion shares. So volume is absolutely dead for late in the day. In fact, I'm probably eating this microphone just a little too much. Probably need to move it away just a little. 2065. So we're up 18 points, 2.45 billion shares. And I don't know what else you can say about that. Up. Very light volume, though. Especially compared to the last few days at this lighter volume. And certainly the last 5 points, maybe 200 million shares. So very light as we get up into this area once again. To see if we have anything else. I wanted to look at some of the stocks that I've got in my scans and see how they're doing today as they hit highs. Was very interested in Copart, because it was coming up and testing the November 25th high. The CPRT is the symbol on this. November 25th, $37.81, 800,000 shares. This thing's been just coming up here and wanted to kiss that high. Now I can think about is that whole Joe Hendrix song, Kiss the Sky. But if the volume is right out here, pretty light, but tried to go over it this morning, come back. We'll see how volume actually closes out the end of the day. But just like when we talked about the stocks yesterday in nat gas and in the rest of the market in purple haze, but I do digress, don't I? I get to drop one more coin in my piggy bank of digressing. I'm going to be, once again, the hands-down favorite at the TFNN Awards for digressing. We had Copart out here. Another one that is very interesting to me is Aaron's Rents. This thing had a massive gap down. It's been fighting its way back up here, and it's been getting into where these huge volume gap downs happen. I think we've been bringing this up for a few days. It's down, but not a lot of volume today either. So I would like to see some volume in some of these ones coming to the downside actually come in with volume. Another one that it looks like it's kind of toying around some highs is Dycom Industries. The symbol is a DY. $36.58. Last 3 days, 226,000, 283,000 today, 100,000. So keep an eye on that. You got some nice gaps down here, and my guess is that eventually you're going to get that gap from 26 to 2750 or 2775, somewhere in there. Back from the November 25th pop, probably going to get filled. And looks like maybe might just be out of juice right here. I didn't look and check for earnings, but we'll see on this when the earnings date is February 23rd. So maybe it'll hang out here at these highs for a while longer, but tough to tell. Again, you can give me an 877-927-6648 for a phone call. You can post a message in the den and or email me at path@tfnn.com. What else do we have out here? Take a look. See if anything else is going on here. Let's see. 2065, 2.47 billion shares. So volume still light. Let's take a look at some of my other holdings just quickly. As up on what they're supposed to be. Let's see if we got anything else out here. Yeah. Nothing that really says anything major has happened out here. As I said, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. Other stocks of interest that are piquing my interest, or is it peaking? Like P-E-K-I-N, like China? Or Peking, P-E-A-K-I-N-G, or Peking, is Flextronic. And that is, of course, the big assembler of electronics here. And I know some people have been short the semis out here, and a lot of people trying to get back into them. But pretty good indication that you've got a sign of a top in semis is Flextronics as an assembler. Jabil Electronics is another good one. When things are good, they're always in demand. When things are not good, it's either heaven or hell in this thing. And I think they had kind of a bounce because Apple's fall out here really took up a lot of the bandwidth of available manufacturing. And what these companies in the U.S. will do is try to get a lot of the early phones done for testing, things like that for Apple, and in that case is a huge amount of phones that they'll run off before they send it over to China and get the big runs done. But talk about very light volume at a high. The September 3rd high, $11.83, 13 million shares. We got into that with 3.9 million shares on the 5th of February here. And let's check out when earnings is on this. I thought that they'd already come out, but let's take a quick look. Yeah, they had already come out. April 29th is the next date, but not real bullish up here in this last leg. You had a nice little gap up on the 29th of January, but volume is really tailing off up here at these highs, and I don't see a lot of impotence for this to go higher anytime soon. But you are testing a fairly, what you could call a shooting star from the September 3rd high out here on much lighter volume. And what is it, JBL is the sister stock. So if you look at this one, you want to look at Jabil. And could you make a case that Jabil's doing an ABC down? This thing had some decent energy up here. We'll see what the retracement is on it. Okay. So basically you've got this thing and Jabil doing the 618 today. So I don't know what else you can say. Nice little doji out here. If this is a expansion, see if we can pick this up. 22. If this is an ABC down, that would take you to $19.38, which is pretty close to the last December 15th low. And I would probably key off that, but you have both an ABC down in Jabil, I am going to predict, and of course a failure at the top by Flextronics. So that's kind of how you put it together. You look, yeah, close enough for government work, as they like to say. Let's see. And it looks like I'm retired because somebody in Nigeria just sent me something that said that they're willing to give me huge sums of money. And of course, I believe everything I read on the internet or in my email. Now, one of the things I find incredibly interesting, let me get all this stuff off the screen. And I commented in my newsletter today, I don't know which way this thing's going, but I can tell you that these movers in the junior gold miners are setting up for a wickedly big move. And you probably want to be watching this on the event of some kind of news break. But this is exactly how stock charts start to line up. And I call this the Lazarus pattern, where they act like they're dead, but they're really not so much dead. A fairly high volatility ETF out here at 3X. But this thing has had basically a flat move since the 29th. And you got a low volume, low area move out here today. We're probably going to get a big move in gold in the next couple of days. Normally, this is like watching the storm clouds come in. We'll be back in just a minute.
Trade with confidence and clarity while using the software that thousands of institutional traders rely on to make the best and most accurate decisions. Choose from 1,000 equities, currencies, and futures instruments utilizing the TAS architecture. As seen on Bloomberg terminals worldwide, the TAS Profile Scanner is a benchmark technical filtering system that thousands of traders rely on, and now you can too. For a limited time for TFNN subscribers only, we've reduced the price to just $97. That's over 75% off. John Logan hosted a special subscriber-only webinar in December, and you'll gain access to that archive as well, so you can learn exactly what the TAS Profile Scanner can do for you. Try this product out. No matter what you trade, the TAS Profile Scanner can help you make more informed trading decisions. There's no obligation to pay anything. Don't let this offer pass you by. Get your 30-day free trial to the TAS Profile Scanner today by signing up at TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
We're told to follow our passion and everything else will fall into place. I hope that's what each of you are doing each and every day. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Money Master Show at TFNN.com, and my passion for technical analysis is what led me to the most fundamental discovery in pattern recognition, the Rhodes Momentum Indicator, market scanner, and trading strategy, a set of tools that identify the momentum and power of the trend, the likes of which have never been seen before, for every market and every time frame. Yes, folks, the trend is your friend, unless you're on the other side. New to technical analysis? This is the place to start. And experienced traders take advantage of the trend like never before. Experience the power of the Rhodes Momentum Indicator each day, available to subscribers of my newsletter service, Mastering Probability. I guarantee your satisfaction for the next 30 days unconditionally, so there's no risk to you other than being on the wrong side of the trend. Mastering Probability, available on the homepage of TFNN.com. And folks, live with passion.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
I had a question in my email from John from Houston, Texas, and he said he didn't catch my show. What was the other stock I sent to and talked about with Andy Heck and on the show yesterday, and that was Occidental Petroleum. And I was showing off yesterday this triple top each time with a lighter volume. Now, do we have a lot of volume on Oxy today? No. But is it going to zero if crude goes back lower? No. But probably not going higher. And that's kind of it. You still have a high volume low that you could call out here on December 16th. That may or may not be a low. My guess, though, is that you probably have a trading range somewhere between the $73 level and the $83 level that we have up here. But interesting to see that all the people that were screaming about buying it aren't really making it go a lot higher this morning. or afternoon. And of course, we still see some weakness out here. Trying to hold $50. It's at $50.12 for the H contract out here. But what else can you say? That and the natural gas kind of looked like at least we were going to get some respite from that, but pretty good indication of that light volume back here on some of those highs. But I do digress. Now, another one that has me very interested is this Lorillard very light test of its previous high. That is the July 14th high at $67.46, 5 million shares. And, of course, we're getting into it. We go over it? Yeah. Well, we've got about another buck out here. But today, less than 1 million shares going in, and we're into that candle. Where this thing blew apart on monstrous volume. So it's come back, pretty much filled the entire gap and come back up to these highs. And the question is whether or not people are going to want to stick in the cigarette business very long. We've talked about this stock the last couple of days, and the questions I've had is these stocks should have rallied and rallied hard. We continue to see a very few stocks getting almost all the love. In fact, today it's all kind of about Apple. If we get enough time, we'll look at it. But would have think something like Live Person out here testing a huge gap up on lots of volume would have rallied today and kind of hardly get out of its way. So why some of these bigger, more well-known stocks like Apple rally, very few other stocks getting any attention or whatsoever. Of course, trying to break through the previous high of Apple of the November 25th high that had 68 million shares. Right now, we just have 44 million shares on Apple, which would be the first test of its high with a lighter volume out here. And kind of a lot of speculation pushing Apple out here today. The question is, if this thing pulls back under 119.75, a lot of people going to start screaming sell on this. Energy was not all that bad out here. It had some nice gaps up. And, of course, you've got some good stuff that they're going to be talking about for a while. But kind of tough to see exactly what's happening out here. Other interesting moves in this market is the IWM. Don't have enough time, I think, to give it justice today. So we'll get ready to turn it over to Tom O'Brien. I see him warming up in the bullpen. And it is... I don't know what else can you say about it, if I can get it back up here. But that's it. Yeah. Look at it. Yeah. It's kind of reversed, but yeah, what can you say? Not a lot of energy on this leg so far. Anyway, we'll see you tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.
You know what's cool? Taking something that's good for you. Something specifically formulated to help with weight loss, better sleep, stress reduction, and the need to detox.
Nico, our hunter and gatherer ancestors found all their nutritional requirements for health in their wild environment. But today, our food sources no longer contain the vitamins, minerals, and nutrients our bodies need to stay healthy and strong.
That's why we need Primal Edge Daily Nutrition. It includes a special blend of ionic, soil-based vitamins, minerals, fatty, and amino acids in an easy-to-use liquid form.
Primal Edge is powered by highly concentrated fulvic and humic acids, nature's preferred delivery system. They have been called miracle molecules because, like sunlight, air, and water, life cannot exist without them.
That's right, Paige. They ensure we receive all the nutrition we need to be healthy and thrive. We take it every morning.
Primal Edge, formulated and approved by Nico and Paige of Living a Primal Lifestyle. Buy it today for just $89. Click on the Primal Edge banner on the front page of TFNN.com. You're watching Tiger TV.